The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
You also mentioned that in 96, not only that you cross paths with DJ Next, but you actually borrowed his needles, which unfortunately didn't work out. But DJ Next, for those who may not know, was actually the original DJ for the Hilltop Hoods before Debris. Now, you also mentioned that, groups like the Hoods are where they're at because, they've put in the hard yards. When you met Next and you were competing in the DMCs, he was already the DJ of the Hoods. And how well did you know the Hoods at that point in time? And did you notice anything different about them that made you go, these guys are going to be the ones that take it to that next level?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Next was the DJ, Debris was the producer at the time, I think, and Suffer was the MC, and Pressure was the MC. So they used to they used to bring us to Adelaide a lot to play with them. And that's where we got really, really close with them, because there was this, I guess, mutual respect for one another, that, we're hard workers, they're hard workers. We put a lot of effort into our work, and we used to just kick it, you know what I mean? But also what was happening is we were learning a lot of each other. And what I mean by that is we would play, and rightfully so, they would play as well. But we'd be going, okay, so this is how they're flipping it. You know what I mean? And they look at us and go, oh, that's how they're flipping it. And then we started seeing a change in the way that we started performing. All right? You get me? Okay. Okay. So to me, that was, I didn't actually think of that till probably about 10 years later. It came to me, I was like, okay, interesting. So we really, they were our boys, man. Like we really got along like a house on fire. I started doing some more stuff with them here and there as well. Did some cuts for them on the records. And then to your question, we didn't think any of us are capable of blowing up like that. It was just not in our, you know what I mean? We weren't reaching for a status like that. And then there was this interesting time when I went up there, and we were doing some shows, and they had this internal joke, all right, where anytime there was like a really hot girl that would come past, they would go da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, and that was the symbol, right? Hear me out here, and so every time I'd sing that, there's a hot chick around we got to look at. All right, fair enough. Now, and it didn't come to, I didn't think about it until probably about 5 years later. Da-da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. And then, you know what I mean? Like they had this ongoing joke, which is the beat nuts. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. And then it was a flute, right? So it's the same thing with this track. So I was like, oh, that's what they fucking had that fucking vibe from. So they got it from that, and they made it da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It was a fucking hit. I was just like, holy shit, just going gangbusters. And yeah, they I can't believe, we still can't believe how big they are. It's and fucking good on them, man. Like seriously, like I'm really proud of the work that they're doing. It's not exactly, I mean, we are not exactly my cup of tea, the stuff that they're doing in terms of the type of tracks, but Left Foot Rifle for me was like, oh my God, that was a bloody amazing album. To me, that was like their best work for some reason. I just still think it's their number one album that they've done. And now my boy's also drumming for them as well for a while now, Pluto. You know, he's an incredible drummer, and he tells me stories about them now. Just like, you have no idea how big these guys are. Like, I'm like, yeah, no, like, no, you have no idea how big they are. They're huge. They're like the Beatles, man. And I just like, I just can't picture suffer. Like, and they're the Adelaide boys. It's just weird. So good on them, man. I think that they've done a lot and have come a long way. So it's great. You know, they've opened up the doors into other areas. And same with Bliss and Nesso, but although they don't get along, to my knowledge, I don't think anyway. Yeah, Sydney versus Adelaide. I don't know why. It's really, really stupid if you think about it. I actually said to Suffer once, I was like, what's the beef? Like, why don't you like them? Yeah, I was just like, oh, come on, man. But it's probably the same with them, you know. It's just, you know, you put two of the same people in the same room, you know, something's gonna happen. A dog and a cat, maybe, I don't know.
The lesson. 927. Oh, yeah.